Cloak and Dagger. Woo! Cloak and Dagger. We have another strategist video guide for all of y'all. First of all, thank you so much for all the love. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. It really helps me, helps the algorithm. But yeah, comment down below what other heroes you want me to make a guide on, and I will gladly do that. But anyways, to show y'all how to play this hero. I'm excited. You essentially have 2 in 1, so I know all the abilities. It might look like a lot and it might be a little intimidating, but just bear with me. We're gonna try to break everything down to make it a little bit more easier for y'all to play. All right, here we are with the abilities for both Cloak and Dagger, and I know what you're thinking. I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you though, or sorry that happened, but bear with me. It's not that much. It's not that much. I promise. Okay, so we have the ult, which is the same on both of the heroes, Eternal Bond, and then we have the left shift, which is essentially the same. All it does is make you switch from Dagger to Cloak or Cloak to Dagger, and back and forth. You can spam this all you want. So yeah, we'll start here with Cloak. We have the Dark Force. I don't even know who's coming up with these names of these abilities because they ain't that complex. Dark Force Cloak. Come on now. Anyways, you're pretty much sucking the life out of your enemy, kind of like Scarlet Witch. And then you have Terror Cape. Again, I don't know who's coming up with these names, but you're deploying a veil of Dark Force to damage enemies upon touch, and you're blinding them. You're narrowing their sight and vulnerability to amplify damage. So if that was me, I just call this the Shadow Realm. That's essentially what you're doing. Then you have Dark Teleportation, which you enshroud your allies into the Dark Force dimension, aka the Shadow Realm, and you grant them this phase, making them, untargetable, invisible, and they also get a movement boost. So this is good to use, especially when you have characters like Jeff who are about to use their ult or something like that. You just incape them in your cloak. Wow, what a great name. And then they are disappeared for a little bit. Anyways, let's go to Dagger. Yeah, we have the Light Force Dagger, which unleashes a bouncing Light Force dagger to damage enemies and heal nearby allies. Then you have the Veil of Light Force, so it's kind of like Cloaks, except for instead of hiding your enemies, you're actually healing your allies and granting them a healing boost. Then you have the Dagger Storm. Launch a volley of daggers, creating a healing over time field in the area, kind of like a little shroud. But yeah, I don't know who comes up with these ability names. I would have named them something a lot more cooler. But yeah, let's jump into some gameplay. Yeah! Alright guys, we have Dagger here, first on board. We're going to start off with her primary attack called Lightning Dagger. As you can see, it doesn't do that much damage, but I also like to call this the flamingo attack because she stands up on one leg. It's kind of cute, look at that. But her attack is awesome. Along with her healing is that you don't need to be aiming directly at your enemy or your ally to be using your primary. See, watch this. It's still hitting them, and my crosshair is nowhere near this enemy. And the same thing goes for when I'm trying to heal an ally. I don't need to be near them, and it's still hitting them. And also a really cool thing that not many guys talk about is that when you're healing, do you see this blue aura circle around me? Whoever's in that circle is getting healed. And this is also including yourself. So watch me take some damage. Come on, bot, shoot me. Why are you scared? Okay. So when I'm shooting the bot, I'm also getting healed because it's in that circle. So you can play kind of aggressive with your primary, which not many people realize that. But the same thing when you're shooting an enemy, you don't have to be aiming directly at them and you can still hit them. So that's pretty cool. But a lot of guides, I'm telling you guys, I can't be giving away all my secrets here. They don't showcase this. You can be behind some stairs and look, I'm shooting the ground, but I'm also still healing my teammate. Like, if you can take the advantage of this and use it in like behind walls or underneath stairs where you don't have a direct line of sight to your opponent, man, oh man, it's going to be trouble. They will not be able to kill you and you'll still be able to pull off those heals. And here's an example behind a wall or a pillar. Let's see if my bot guy, he keeps dying, but he'll pop up here soon. Look at this. I still have targets and I'm shooting through the wall essentially and still healing them. So that's pretty cool. Make sure you are aware of the terrain of the map and where you're setting up, because this can be a huge advantage, especially when you're trying to kite your opponents and heal at the same time or even do damage. Look at that. That's insane. All right, the next ability we're going to talk about is called Dagger Storm. her secondary, which does a kind of like an aura or field over time effect, which heals everybody that's inside of it. As you can see, both of my teammates are being healed, and this is pretty cool because you can also hit this while healing another teammate. That way all of you guys can heal at the same time. And if you didn't notice, when I'm healing this guy, the guys in the aura one are still being healed because of that area of effect. So that's pretty cool to do. Not many people will talk about that one also, like what's going on with these guys, I can't be giving away all my secrets. But the cool thing about this, if you guys use your mics, you guys got one, I know y'all do, in game you can tell everybody to bunch up, and look, I'll get healed too. Come on bot, do some damage to me. Boom. Alright, so like say I can flick down real quick, I can heal myself while with everybody else inside the circle. So this would be pretty cool. If you know you're not near your teammates, I would try to focus mainly on your tanks with this ability, or even your strategists next to you trying to heal, because you know no one's helping y'all. Y'all are on for yourselves, getting backlined by Iron Fist or Spider-Man, who knows. But yeah, duelists, I wouldn't even focus on them because they're gonna probably be AoEing or, you know, doing overextending or doing something. They're just not worth it, you know what I'm saying? Especially when they're mean to you. Alright, and last but not least is her Veil of Light Force. You know, this ability might seem a little useless because this is all you see, right? But no, as long as you have that green bar, your healing will be bonus. Look at that. And again, like I said, as long as they're in that blue circle effect, they will be getting healed. But it kind of acts like as a boost to where you get bonus health. As long as the green bar is above them when you first hit them with this and then you start healing, that's when they get more of a healing boost. So just keep in mind, you know, it might not be that good of an ability. I'm sure it will receive a buff in the near future, but you know, that's what we have to deal with for now. Alright guys, now we're going to switch over to Cloak, and we're going to do this by pressing the left shift. Or, not many people realize this, but you can also use the scroll wheel. You can scroll up or down, it does not matter. And I prefer this if you can get used to it. And the reason being is that depending on your keyboard, if you don't have like a cherry red or a blue or a brown switch in your keyboard, you're gonna have a disadvantage, because the scroll on no matter what mouse it is always gonna be a little bit faster by like 0.05% or 0.005 compared to the keyboard. So if you can get used to the scrolling, I would highly recommend that. But anyways, we have the Dark Force Cloak, which is his primary attack, or as I like to say, Dark Magic Attack. Dark Magic Attack. So this is pretty cool because the same as Dagger's primary attack, you don't have to be aiming at your enemy. You can just hover around them, kind of like Scarlet Witch. So that's pretty cool to know. Alright, the next ability we're going to talk about is called the Terror Cape. Ooh, so spooky. I don't know who's coming up with the names of these abilities, but as you realize, it does damage. But if you don't realize, it also puts them in this like purple coat, as you can see right here. So what this is doing is kind of like the Veil of Light, except for instead of healing your allies, it's doing damage to your enemies, but it's also putting them in the Shadow Realm. That's right, baby. We are putting them in the Shadow Realm where they cannot see anything. They're blind. Their sight is no longer there. They're vulnerable to damage, and the damage is also a little bit increased. So they can't see anything, but you and your teammates can. And when you do this, you better make sure you're putting all the damage. And you can also use it to like counter someone's ult, like Iron Man, or you know, I don't know, whoever you want to blind, just blind them, and you can get the heck out of there, get the heck out of dodge, and try to maneuver around them, maybe get a flank. But yeah, that's what I would try to use Terror Cape for. Alright, and now for the last ability for Cloak himself, we're going to use Dark Teleportation. This move actually sounds pretty sick, and here it is. So I'm going to put on the screen what it looks like on your allies' point of view, but essentially it's just putting them in the Shadow Realm. It's enshrouding nearby allies in the Shadow Realm dimension and granting them phased, making them untargetable, which is huge because no one's going to be able to see them, you or your teammates. This is perfect for like a Jeff ult, especially if you can time it correctly. It'll hide everybody and Jeff won't know when to click or when to swallow everybody up. Pause. But yeah, pretty much makes them untargetable and invisible, and you also get a movement boost along with your teammates. So that's pretty clutch if you can use it sparingly, as it does have a 12-second cooldown, so just keep that in mind. But one thing I do want to point out before we talk about the ultimate ability is that when you're using all these abilities, no matter if you're Cloak or Dagger, the cooldowns don't I guess stack. So like, say I use, you know, E on Dagger or E on Cloak, right? And I switch to Dagger, my E is still there, but when I switch back, it's still on cooldown, but it's a continuous cooldown. So like, here's 4 seconds, switch back, now it's on 2. Okay, so what you can do is, you know, go DPS mode, use all your abilities with Cloak, and then switch over and try to time it so you can heal, do all your abilities, and then you can switch back if you want to do more damage, you know what I'm saying? But you just got to make sure you time this correctly, depending on, you know, what you're trying to do, depending on healing, or if you're trying to, you know, go on the more DPS side. You just want to make sure you're switching back and forth and not blowing all your cooldowns at the same time, or else you're going to be stuck doing nothing but your primary attack. So just keep that in mind. A lot of good Cloak and Daggers can, you know, use this as to their advantage depending on what they're switching to. So yeah, just take some practice and you'll get through it. All right, and last but not least, we're going to talk about their ultimate ability, Eternal Bond. It is pretty sick, but you know what? Guess again, I can't be giving away all my secrets, guys. No one is talking about this. When you're using this ultimate ability, it's putting this, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a hazardous terrain on the map. You'll see here in a second when I pull the ult. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. See that goo on the ground? So this goo, whoever's walking in it on the enemy side is getting damage, and then your teammates, they get healed. So if you're gonna get past the ticking sound, which is kind of annoying, you can do some crazy plays with this. I like to think of it as who is the hero? Oh my god, I'm blanking, but someone in Overwatch, Torbjorn, when he puts his lava on the map, you know, the enemy team can't walk over the lava without being hit or having damage dealt to them. So just try to think of it that way. I would usually put this by maybe a door or a choke point, or, you know, somewhere on the cart if you don't want them touching it, because they're not going to be able to get on that without taking damage. So you can use it to your advantage in that way. But, you know, it's pretty cool that you get to do this 3 times automatically. You just got to remember, you're not clicking it every single time you hit the button. It's just going to be 3 simultaneously paths. So you just got to make sure you're angling your position in the correct way, or else you're going to waste it. But yeah, like I said, look at all that. All that in the middle there is that hazardous terrain. So it's doing damage and causing healing. So the best time to use this, like I said, besides being on near like a choke point or something, is use that bike, ladies and gentlemen. Tell everybody, we going in. We're about to do a team fight. Everybody group up. Get on they butts, because I'm ulting. And we're going to do a lot of AoE damage and a lot of healing at the same time. So yeah, that's my guide to Cloak and Dagger. Let me know if you want to see any more guides for certain heroes, and I will get that made. I'm trying to do all the strategists first, because, you know, we got people in the game complaining about not getting heals. So I'm trying to help y'all out, try to learn those healers so you can get into the game and have, you know, that's our mission in life. We want to have one healer or one duelist and vanguards stop complaining at a time. But if you like the content, if you're still here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. You know, I can't be giving away all my tips and tricks, but I'm going to do the best as I can to help you guys. Also, her range is crazy. Look at this. Oh my god. This is like over 100 yards. I'm exaggerating. But anyways, guys, let me know if you enjoy this. I'm going to put some gameplay at the end here like I always do. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.